Welcome back to the Gentleman's Gazette. In today's video, I discuss the differences between ready-to-wear, off-the-rack, made-to-order, made-to-measure, and bespoke. Are you confused yet? There's so many terms in classic men's clothing, and most men get confused. So let's start with ready-to-wear and off-the-rack. Ready-to-wear is a garment that you can buy in a shop, just hangs there, and you can buy it as it is. It's intended to be worn immediately, and hence also called off-the-rack or ready-to-wear. The huge advantage of ready-to-wear clothing is that it's what you see is what you get. It hangs there, you can touch it, you can feel it, you can see it, you can try it on, and you know exactly what you get. Sometimes ready-to-wear is abbreviated to RTW and off-the-rack to OTR. Just keep that in mind. It's all the same thing. When you're at the store, you should always try it on simply to see if it needs minor alterations, such in the waist, or if it has something that would be very difficult to alter, such shoulders that are too wide. You also don't have to wait. You can just buy it, take it home, wear it, and enjoy it. It's certainly the easiest way to shop. On the flip side, it will never fit you perfectly, even if it's altered afterwards. Most are designed as mass-market garments, and at least for garments, you can make alterations. If you buy a pair of shoes, you can't. Another disadvantage of ready-to-wear clothing is that you usually don't find special things, such as special fabrics like Solaro, Fresco, or Donegal tweed. Since it is made on a standard pattern, it's only good for people who have a very symmetrical body. However, bear in mind, no human being truly has a symmetrical body. Personally, my right shoulder is much lower than my left one, and so every ready-to-wear garment I have will have to be altered, or it just looks wrinkled in the back. Personally, I've never seen a ready-to-wear off-the-rack garment that fit perfectly 100% even after alterations. Some people think it does, but usually what it means, they're just not educated enough to see the flaws of the garment. That being said, heavier, thicker fabrics such as tweed drape much better and are much better for ready-to-wear than a thin worsted. Apart from tweed garments or thick fabrics, one garment that's really great to buy ready-to-wear is a vest or waistcoat. It doesn't have any sleeve length that needs to be altered, and you only need a chest measurement because the waist can also be adapted to your size. Next up, let's discuss made-to-order, also known as MTO. Made-to-order is basically a ready-to-wear garment that introduces customization options. It's very popular for shoes, not so much for garments. What that means is you pick a standard last, and then you decide what leather you want, what colors, and what sole you want. For more high-end providers, they even offer you an option to adapt your last, so you can even customize the fit, but that's the exception to the rule. The advantage is you know exactly what you get in terms of fit, and you can get the exact color, shade, and style you want. The disadvantage is that you pay a higher price, you have to wait longer because it has to be made for you, yet you don't really get a better fit than a off-the-rack pair of shoes. Next up is made to measure, also known as MTM. Unfortunately, this term is not protected, and so it's used for anything under the sun that includes some form of measurement. In its pure form, made to measure is a step up from ready to wear. Basically, you take a standard pattern, you take a person's measurements, and you adapt that pattern to those measurements. Many people confuse made to measure with bespoke, but bespoke is more than made to measure, and I'll explain later why. Made to measure is very popular with garments, not with shoes, and most of the time when someone tells you it's a custom garment, it likely is made to measure. It works particularly well if your body is not very asymmetrical or you don't have any major issues, because it's simply an adaptation of a standard pattern. So the fit will rarely be 100%, but you have all the customization options that you can possibly think of. The shape of your lapels, the fabric, the interlining, the lining, the buttons, everything you want to choose, you can. Advantage of a made-to-measure suit or garment is that it's less expensive than a bespoke garment. It's usually more expensive than off the rack because it includes customization, but at the same time, you can really choose and get something that you want with an improved fit. The problem of made-to-measure is that there's so many different providers and programs really vary in quality. Sometimes you get a made-to-measure suit that looks great when you stand, but as soon as you move, you're limited because it just isn't a well-designed pattern. You can also spend anything from $300 up to $3,000 for made to measure, and obviously there's a difference in the amount of hand sewing and the quality that goes into the garment, as well as the fabrics and the trimmings. Whenever you see an online custom suit, it's likely a made to measure suit. Results can really vary depending on the company, the measurements that were taken, and the pictures you can provide. So be cautious and don't expect perfection. Overall, made to measure is great for people who want a customized garment in the fabric of their choice that are easy to fit and don't want to spend thousands of dollars on a garment. Next, let's discuss bespoke. The term bespoke is derived from the word bespeak, which means to speak for something. It's a very British term and just describes a customized process where one individual really can decide exactly what they want, and then one garment or a pair of shoes or anything else in terms of clothing is made exclusively for them. The big difference to made to measure is that a pattern is created from scratch. Usually it involves more handwork and there are no options. You can basically choose any detail you want in any shape or form. Whereas made to measure usually means you pick from a catalog or predefined shapes and forms. Unfortunately, bespoke is not a protected term and people abuse it for all kinds of things, sometimes even for ready to wear, made to order, and made to measure. On Savile Row, bespoke means that a suit has to be cut by an individual on the premises and at least 50 hours need to go into it. But that's just limited to Savile Row. You'll even find brands named Savile Row in the US and outside of Britain, so don't be fooled by that. For shoes, it means that a last will be created for you, and it's one of a kind because your feet are different, they're never 100% the same, and you can choose the styling, the leather, any detail you want. As you can see, ordering a bespoke garment requires knowledge on your behalf because a tailor can ask you, how would you like your shoulder? How should it be done? And you can easily be overwhelmed if you don't know what you want. Of course, a good tailor can also guide you, but at the end of the day, you shouldn't order bespoke if you don't have a basic understanding of what it is that you seek. The big advantage of bespoke is the superb fit and the limitless options. The disadvantage is that it's usually the most expensive, it takes the longest, and it has fittings, so it takes more time. At the same time, these fittings guarantee a proper fit. Now, in theory, a bespoke garment should always fit perfectly. Unfortunately, in reality, that's not always the case. Especially when you start out, the first bespoke suit is probably never going to be the best in terms of fit. However, subsequent ones should be, and the fit should improve with every suit. However, since it's a handmade garment, no suit will ever be exactly alike. Larger houses like Brioni or Kiton oftentimes can reproduce a garment in a better way because they have individual people just work on the pants or just on the jacket or just on the sleeve. An individual tailor will always have some variation, and that's just the beauty of a handmade garment. Now that you know the differences between ready to wear, off the rack, made to order, made to measure, and bespoke, stay tuned for another video where I discuss custom made, handmade, hand grade, and all the other confusing terms that are out there in the men's world. So what do you prefer? Let me know in the comments and make sure to like this video and sign up to our email newsletter here.